Doing this all by my. Okay, so do you have screen share, Phil?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. While we're getting set up, I'm gonna see if I can find my ear pods here. You know, you and I travel all the time, and I just got harassed by Southwest, like checking in like nobody's business. It was really crazy. They told me my
Oh
bags
no.
that I travel with all the time. The guy says to me, "We're not going to let you in with those." What? He goes, "I'm working the gate and those are too big. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to charge you when you get to the gate."
Lovely.
Yeah.
Morning reading. Good morning, Holly.
Hey, everybody.
Morning, Humper.
So,
Hey, Hump.
Sean, where have you been?
Hey guys, how was everybody's summer?
Fabulous. Where the heck have you been?
I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. Do you want me to go on singing Bob Dylan or?
All right. I am in an airport. Somebody help me. How do I connect my earbuds to, will they are they automatically joining my iPad? Can you guys hear me?
If you go to your settings, won't it click in with your devices if you have them
I
paired?
got it. I got it already. How cool is that?
There you go, man. Not only are you good looking, you're pretty damn smart too, huh?
Where are you traveling to now? That's what I want to know.
Do you know
Where are you
I have
going? Where are you coming from?
not been home since the cruise?
I know. I want to be you, Peggy.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. What is this? Allow
We all want to
recording?
be you, Peggy.
Oh, stop. No, you don't. No, you don't. But I want to be you guys. I was really thinking about how blessed I am. And honestly, this is my life by design. You know, I said I wanted to travel. I wanted to be on the East Coast. I wanted to be on the East Coast, be on the West Coast, and man, be careful what you wish for. Because when you travel as much as I do and you forget that you can't have something in your suitcase and they just take your $45 mousse that you just bought. But I was rushing to get here. So it's perfect. We got a lot of people jumping on. Okay. Did you all see that we're hitting the record button? Did that come up for everybody? Okay. So let's see. It's a little bit after 9. Can I tell you guys how super excited I am? Can I tell you guys that I literally changed my flight today? I should have been on a flight right now on JetBlue back to Florida nonstop. But I said, I cannot miss this. So I was able to grab a Southwest flight at 11:30. I got here, got to the club, able to set up with Wi-Fi. And man, I'm just going to let the amazing flying Philly Hahn come on board and take over this meeting because he's got so much. So Phil, I'm honored. Would love you to tell everybody your backstory. I mean, dude, you're like one of the top agents in the world, right?
I was number 8. I was number 8 at KW and number 1 in the nation. Yeah. But used to be's don't make no honey. Remember that, right? I used to be this, I used to be that. Well, let me tell you something. Used to be's don't make no honey. So what have you done for me lately? But yeah, I had the privilege of being number 8 in the world at the Red Company and had the privilege of actually recruiting 2 of the top number 1s worldwide at that former company as well. So lots of fun stuff, but yeah.
We love it. And you know what? That former company put us here where we are today. Because I am honestly so grateful to them. I was with them for over 16 years. I learned a lot. And because of them, I'm able to coach, have my life by design, live all over the world. And I am, thank you to GK and KW. I will always say that for me.
Yeah,
So
100%.
okay, so we're going to jump right in. You know, I was talking to Phil and he's like, what do you want me to talk about? I'm like, everything. We want to know everything. We want to know how you're doing it. We want to know about your script classes. We want to know how to handle buyers and sellers right now, confusion. So Phil, you take it over. This is your hour. I want to have questions for guys. Everybody just jump in. And let's just rock and roll with this.
Awesome. Well, Peggy, thanks for having me, and everybody welcome. And thanks for qualifying your time to be here. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to be sharing with you. And, you know, time is one thing that we have, you know, sometimes we think the younger we are. I know when I was a kid, I used to think I had an infinite amount of time. And as I mature on in my years, you realize that, you know, it's a real limitation. And so thanks for qualifying your time to be here. That's really awesome. You know, I want to talk first about what Peggy and I were talking about kind of disruption in the real estate space. You know, I think in my personal experience, there have been really three main disruptors in the space. Number one was really RE/MAX in 1973, and what RE/MAX did was they took the traditional real estate model. Now, before, basically realtors worked for the broker, and they were employees. They weren't really independent contractors. Their splits were 50-50 or even 60-40 to the benefit of the brokerage. And RE/MAX said, well, you know what, we're gonna shake this up, and we're going to you know, we're going to introduce the independent contractor model, and we're going to give the money back to the people that are actually out there in the trenches making the money. And hence the term RE/MAX, which is real estate maximums. We're going to give the agents the maximum commission back. And so that was in 73, my goodness, 51 years ago. And then in 1983, along came the Red Company out of Austin. And, you know, they took the independent contractor model and they said, hey, you know what? This is really cool, but we're gonna add in this unique little profit share component, which is based on hyper local market center profit share, profitability, I should say. But we're going to have some education and some training and consulting and you know, introduce that aspect. And, you know, they were a big disruptor in 1983. And then, of course, in 2009, you know, our amazing Canadian founder, I'm Canadian and German, and I do business in the States. So there you have it. Came along with his, you know, amazing innovation and said, hey, let's really be transparent with this profit share and turn it into a global revenue sharing model where we're not compressing and have, you know, all kinds of terms like owner profit and above the line profit and below the line profit and, you know, profitability that's only on a hyper local level, but let's share on the global revenue. And here we are today, you know, 24 countries, 87,000 plus agents strong. So, and we're really just getting started. So anyway, there's my backstory in terms of what I believe are the three big disruptions in real estate. And speaking of real estate, how I got into real estate was about 2001. I was running a global automotive arbitrage business where I was buying high-end cars and shipping them all over the world. You know, so high-end SUVs like Chevy Tahoes, Suburbans, GMC Yukons, Honda Odyssey vans, Toyota Solara convertibles, all kinds of PT Cruisers, Honda S2000s. And I would buy those cars and I would sell them to dealers and wholesalers in the US or in the Middle East or in Europe. And one day, and at my peak, I was doing about 100 vehicles a month consistently. And I get a call one Thursday, it was a Thursday afternoon, from one of my partners that one of our main clients just got into a whack of financial difficulty and wasn't able to pay us. And we had given the cars on credit to him because we had such a strong relationship, and he wasn't able to pay us. And so that was pretty catastrophic. And that's what led me into the real estate space. And so I lost about $6 million that day. And I was in my, I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And so I said, what am I going to do? And so my trade by, you know, what I learned how to do when I was very young, I'm half Sicilian, was how to road build and work in concrete and asphalt. So I went back to my roots and did road building and construction. And so while I was doing that, I was doing my real estate licensing course, and I'd work, you know, from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m., usually 5 to 6 days a week doing construction. And then evenings and the one day off on the weekend I'd work on my real estate course. And I was really, really focused on wanting to build something special. Now, folks, this is in 2002. And so the internet, we're using the net for sure, but it's nowhere near, obviously, as prevalent or social media or that stuff. And so how I chose my local real estate office was I found the office that was in my community. And it happened to be a national franchise company. And so I went and I met with them and I said, I actually called the owner of the company and the managing broker. And I said, I'd love to meet with you guys. And so I went and had a sit down with them. And I said, so, I'm coming from the automotive arbitrage business and I want to sell a lot of houses. In fact, I'm going to sell 100 houses my first year. And the broker owner and the managing broker both crossed their arms like this and leaned back and said, well, no one's ever done that. And I said, well, I'm going to do that. And they just looked at me like I was kind of insane. And that, I obviously had no idea what I was talking about and no one had done that. And so I signed up with the company, but I left there feeling that I was in an environment that was probably not conducive to my big, hairy, audacious goals. And that wasn't going to support me, but that was going to be challenging to say the least. So I had no money. So I went to my local Staples. I printed off 5,000 flyers. I named myself Hahn for Homes. And my flyer said, I'm collecting food on behalf of our local food bank, non-perishable items, and just announcing my real estate team, which was me, myself, and I at the time. And if people would have any non-perishable items. So my strategy was I would go and knock on doors 5 to 6 days a week, 4 to 5 hours a day, and hand out the flyer and ask people, knock, knock. Hey, my name's Phil from the Hahn for Homes team. I'm here on behalf of our local food bank, and I'm collecting non-perishable items. Do you have anything you could spare? Okay. And people 9 times out of 10 were pretty darn receptive to that. And they'd say, sure. And they'd come back and they'd give me a bag of pasta, a couple of cans of macaroni or alfaghetti or whatever, sardines, whatever, all kinds of stuff. And I got a lot of sardines, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, I guess those are things that people buy that maybe they didn't want. I don't know. And then when I take the items, I bring them to my minivan, and then I come back and I say, by the way, I'm the local area expert with our local real estate company. We have an office here in the community. Do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell real estate right now? And so as an icebreaker, having used that kind of place from coming from contribution, they had warmed up to me quite quickly. And so they'd say, oh yeah, my friend down the street is looking to sell, or they're relocating to Virginia, or they're moving to Texas, or they're moving to Washington. And so, and then if they didn't know anyone, then I'd say, well, how about yourselves? How long you've been investing in your home and how long you've lived here? Can I offer you a complimentary market evaluation? And so that was my strategy for my first year in real estate. And I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it. Okay. So the end of the first year happens. I didn't sell 100 homes. I did 96 transactions. Now, here's the funny thing. I made less than $500,000, just under $500,000 on 96 transactions, folks. Can you imagine that today? I mean, I don't know what markets you're in, but our markets, everything's, north of $1 million, right? So my average sale price was around $150,000. And so I did the 96 deals. I come in and I call my manager and my broker owner. And we have a sit down and I say, listen, I've got to share some stuff with you. And so they were a little hesitant again, because they'd already had this meeting with me last year, right? And I said, I'm going to sell 200 homes this year. And the broker owner did the same thing as he did the initial meeting. He crossed his arms and he sat back and he said, why can't you be happy with what you've done? Folks, that was a life-changing kind of speaking to me. He was speaking to me and speaking through me saying, why can't you be happy with what you've done? So the writing was on the wall, folks, that I had to get out of there, right? So what do? I researched real estate coaches, and there was a gentleman by the name of Craig Proctor, a Canadian, who was a big direct response marketer. And I went to a conference. This was the summer of 2003 in Scottsdale, Arizona, the JW Marriott. For those of you that are from Phoenix or Scottsdale, great spot, great hotel. I think we've actually had events there through with Brent and stuff, and different EXP events as well. And so I went there, and they had the guaranteed sale program. And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. So I can actually guarantee sales and people are going to love this. Your home sold guaranteed or will buy it, right? So I came back, I printed off like 50,000 cards. I got a billboard, your home sold guaranteed. I got a Hummer, I wrapped it. And then about 2 days after all this stuff showed up, my broker calls me and they say, what are you doing? Because of course I didn't ask for permission. I just went ahead and did it because I thought it was so cool and other people were doing it. And I said, well, I went to this conference and there's this amazing program and I'm going to run with it. It's amazing. Well, you can't do that. That's going to give you an unfair advantage over your colleagues. Are you kidding me? Really? Anyway, so I started shopping for brokerages. I went to meet the Hot Air folks. They were awesome, but it was very disconnected and disjointed at the time. And then there was a new company that just opened up. There were about 20 agents. That was the Red Company. And so I went and met with the operating partner there. And I told him what had happened. And he said, well, why do you only want to sell 200 homes? Why not 300? And then I knew I was in the right place. And then he said to me, he said, how can you be authentic to yourself to go back and, you know, be in that environment, right? So anyway, so now I'm like, I've got to do all the rebranding and change to this new company. So I, about a couple of months, we're doing all the rebranding, getting ready to come over. I get a call in from the broker owner again. They have to have a special meeting. This is from that legacy bricks and mortar model. And they say that I'm no longer allowed to put my sales on our sales board. So we used to have a dry erase board and you'd have a new listing, you'd put it on, you'd have a new sale, you'd put it on. And the reason is that it was alienating my colleagues because I was dominating the board and people weren't happy about it because they were, you know, they'd been in the community 20, 30 years. And here's this young buck that comes in that's, you know, full of beans and just wanting to crush it and kill it. And, you know, I wasn't allowed to put my sales on the board. It was just ridiculous, folks. Then I wasn't allowed to park my Hummer in the parking lot of the brokerage because people thought I owned the brokerage and it was giving me an unfair advantage. And this is now I don't know if any of you have had to deal with this kind of craziness, but this is the nonsense I was dealing with. But again, I was so completely convinced in my ability and my goals that it didn't really faze me. And I knew I was going to that Red Company. So I go to the Red Company and, you know, I felt like I'd been let out of San Quentin. I was in an environment that was just crazy. Everybody was cheering everybody on. We were creating and having a great time. And Peggy, you know the culture, and it was pretty phenomenal at the time. And so I get a call about 8 months into it, and the operating partner says, hey, come here. And he shows me something called More Reports. And I had just been hustling and I was new to the company and I was #1 in the nation. I had no idea because the internet, we didn't have access to all the stats, right? And I was in the top, at that point, I think I was top 30 worldwide for the Red Company. And then a year later, I ended up being #1 again and #8 in the world and all this fun stuff, and continued on that journey quite extensively. So 2015 comes and I'm getting these direct messages from my original realtor from 30 years ago saying, you got to check this company out, EXP. Now, folks, at that time, I'm running a mega agent office. I'm a shareholder. I'm totally immersed in transactional chaos. Okay. We're doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transactions per year. It's just doing deals is my drug of choice. Like I'm telling you, I get a deal, boom, next deal, next deal, next deal. That was my drug of choice. And so I'm just ignoring these direct messages. I'm ignoring them, but it's kind of funny. And I'm thinking EXP, like, what is this expo, whatever. And then some lady in my local area invites me to something, but I didn't go because, you know, whatever. She said, oh, these bigwigs are up from the US, from Texas, and this thing's going to change everything. And you're perfect for it. And anyway, I didn't see it. I was too busy. So then I decide I'm going to buy 2 regions of the Red Company in Europe because I'm a German citizen as well. And I want to live half time in Europe, half time in North America. So I go to FSO, my second or third time, and I'm in Austin, Texas. And we're there looking at acquiring Italy at the time and Croatia and different areas in Southern Europe and Southwestern Europe. And we're at the hotel, the JW Marriott in Austin, lovely hotel. We used to go to the Hilton or the JW, and my wife and I are having a swim. And this is summer of 2017. And the fire alarm goes off. And the guy comes running and he's like, you got to get out of the pool. You got to get out of the pool. The hotel's on fire. So I'm like, oh my goodness, but you can't get dressed. You can't do anything. And any of you that have been to that hotel know that that hotel is about 5 or 6 stories up. It's a raised, the pool is a raised pool. And of course, when the fire alarm goes off, you've got to walk down the stairs. You can't use the elevator. So we walk down the stairs. My wife's in her swimsuit, I'm in my swimsuit. We're soaking wet. Walk down the stairs. It's a beautiful, balmy Austin evening. And we sit on the park bench outside, out front of the JW. And the police are coming, ambulances, fire trucks, the news, like, guys, it's a friggin' show. And my wife says, why don't we look at this EXP thing before we make this decision? Okay, because we were going all in, okay? And I said, yeah, good idea. And so I watched the 2016 Rob Flick wealth chart video. Who's seen that? Anyone seen that? Guys, that thing is gangster. That is unbelievable. It's as relevant today as ever. And as we know, Rob is our pretty much #1 legacy earner in our company and rev share, and just a great guy. And so I watch it, and I'm a math guy, and my wife is very much into numbers as well. And we're like, oh my goodness, these guys, if this works or if this is real, like, this is going to change everything. And I was like, so we put the brakes on the KW thing, and we're like, no, this isn't happening. So we come back, and Glenn reaches out to me, and Glenn comes down to visit us, and we go to this lovely Italian restaurant. Glenn Sanford, our founder and chairman, and we go to this lovely Italian restaurant, La Baia in White Rock, and we on the ocean, and we spend about 3 or 4 hours just sitting there and talking. And he's totally transparent, telling me about his setbacks and failures. And I was grilling him because I wanted to be in an ownership capacity, and, the ego, I'm the driver and I'm doing this and that. And, this wasn't my thing. And, so I had to plug into someone else's thing. And anyway, it was just a fantastic 3 or 4 hours. And we had reconnected because I remember Glenn from the early 2000s at KW when he used to wear his 3D glasses and all that kind of stuff. And he was doing his lead generation and all the kind of stuff that he was doing, and home tours, buyer tours, realty, and whatever. And so I went to the shareholder summit in 2018. Glenn said, hey, come and check this out. And that was at a JW Marriott in Las Vegas, Nevada, in Henderson, I believe. And we were done. It was like, wow, this is it. We connected with a bunch of people, and that was, my goodness, 6 years ago now. And kind of a crazy event. But on April 6, 2018, I remember we were in our suite at the JW, and my phone started lighting up, and there'd been a terrible accident in Canada where 17 young men had been killed. It's the Humboldt hockey bus crash. And that was on my birthday, April 6, 2018. And I just remember that happening, and my wife and I fell to our knees and we were praying. We have 4 adult sons, and 2 of which played high level hockey, 1 that still does and is a professional. And so that rang really close to us, and our sons had known some of those kids. But anyway, yeah, that just kind of, that sealed the deal for us. And now here we are, my goodness, 6 years later. And so one of the things that my original mentor had taught me when I got into the real estate space was you're going to have 2 parts of your business. You're going to have your listing business, and you're going to have your buyer business. And he said, you need to treat your buyers like you do your sellers, right? And you list a buyer and you list a seller. And so, we're in a new market. We've got all kinds of changes coming, but at the end of the day, for the past 22 years, that's all I've ever taught, and all we've ever done was listings are all okayed on a, and we use different words, by the way. We don't use the traditional words. So listings get okayed on a 6-month agreement. All listings expire on the 15th, and buyer listings get okayed on a 1-year agreement, and they always expire on the 15th. Okay. And so that's what we've always trained, and that's all I know, and that's all people that I provide mentorship and strategic growth, solutions to, is getting the buyers okayed. Okay. And so, if we know that, and it's in your DNA and you're used to working with that, this whole new market is really nothing more than, confirmation and validation of what you were doing before was indeed the right thing. Okay. And so I want to go through a little bit about that. But first, I'd like to open it up for any questions or any challenges people are having right now. Just let's be transparent and raw here. And by the way, during this process, as I was transitioning to the EXP role and that opportunity, my assistant got killed in a car accident her and her sister. My mom died, my father died, and my marriage ended all within a 2-year period. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that had happened, and so I'm talking about the fun stuff, but the reality is that life happens to all of us. We've all lost people we love, and God works in mysterious ways, and that's cool, right? And we have to just be humble, and we're really only passengers on this vessel called life. So in this vessel called life. And so, there was a lot of stuff happening as well throughout this journey in a very short period of time. And so anyway, I'd like to open it up and let's talk a bit before I get into the nuts and bolts of how we're signing buyers and how we're going to, leave you with some gold here, folks. Unmute your mics. You have any questions? Let's go.
Come on. Open it up, guys. Oh, come on.
Hey, Phil, it's John here. First
Hey,
of all,
Humper, how are you, buddy?
good, buddy.
John's from my hometown. John is from my hometown, North Bay, Ontario, which is the center of the universe. Beautiful, kind of Lake of the Ozarks place, I guess. Hey, Johnny?
Home of the brave. Home of the brave.
Yeah, home of the brave.
I
What's
just
up,
wanted to
buddy?
say thanks for sharing your story because Phil, for everybody that's on this call, Phil was the first one to reach out to me when I came on board with EXP back in the fall of 2018. And of course, the first thing he said is, "You're from my hometown." We had never met back then, but Phil's been nothing but one of my best buddies and mentors and good friends since then. But I just want to say that myself, having been in the industry since 1980-81, listening to your story for the first time, because this is the first time you've shared this much with me as far as your whole story. I've heard bits and pieces, but it was just funny listening to it all because I'm shaking my head the whole time. Yeah, I went through that. Yeah, went through that. But I just wanted to ask you the one question. When you were experiencing where you were saying, we'll sell your home in 90 days or less, or we'll do it for free, or we'll buy it. What year was that for you?
Yes, I started that, John, in 03, basically. Yeah, that was 03, right after I went to the Craig Proctor conference
Okay.
in Scottsdale, Arizona in 03, late spring, early summer of 03.
Because I ran into it when I did the Joe Stumpf 3-day seminar in Seattle back in 1995. And then I ended up changing markets from the Surrey White Rock area and then went to the North Shore. And my partner and I came out with, that we'll sell your home in 90 days or less, or we'll do it for free. And oh man, the uprising. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I was laughing the whole time you were sharing with us, all the stories about some of what you experience with the pushback, because when you start thinking outside the box, you do get a lot of pushback. And certainly myself, having been with Independence and then Remax, and then after 25 years leaving Remax to go to EXP, I would have to say that was the biggest pushback ever. So anyway, I just wanted to share out that story and say thank you for you sharing all of this. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the call.
That's awesome, buddy. Yeah. No, so, hey, Watson.
Hey, Phil, good to see you.
Hey, buddy. You know what? I still can't sleep thinking about that time you kicked my butt in Vegas and live role play. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, we got a ninja here.
Yeah, so nice to see you. What an inspiration this is. I wish I can just take more notes and convey this to. Are you still with Craig Proctor or?
No, you know what? Craig's a personal friend. He's a buddy. But no, you know what? It's interesting. Folks, there are so many amazing coaches and there are so many amazing programs, and the key is that to find and to align with whatever works and resonates with you and just run with it, right? The fundamentals and the foundation are pretty much all the same. And I'm a firm believer that hard work works. And I'm a great believer in luck. And I believe the harder I work, the more of it I have. Right. And so I'm no longer with Craig. I haven't been for many years, Watson, but a great coach and great programs. Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. I don't know how EXP and Craig, but I'm so glad thank you for sharing. You really, first of all, I thank Peggy. How did you get all this great speaker? How much did I pay you for this to continue? No, really, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sure I speak for everybody. And Phil,
that's a great West Texas accent. Where in West Texas are you from?
Who, Watson?
Watson, I'm kidding you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Reading.
Tucker.
Hey, Phil, I've got 2 questions for you. Could you?
Yeah, hey, Reading.
It's Redding, by the way. My nickname.
Reading? Oh, sorry, man. Sorry.
That's okay. Can you put your phone number in the chat, number 1? And number 2, do you think your success led to the demise of your relationship? Because I have found that not a lot of people can deal with me for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that I like to take care of problems instantaneously. So I don't care if it's 8 o'clock at night, I'll answer the phone and take care of the problem because I don't want to deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Phil?
Reading, yeah, that's a great question. You know what? I can say my former spouse and I got together very, very, very young. I was 19 for 4 days when my first son was born. And you know, we grew together, but we also grew apart. She was actually very supportive of business and business growth. But I was a cowboy and I made a lot of mistakes, and she extended a tremendous amount of grace to me, Reading. But, you know, at the end of the day, it just, you know, the marriage kind of came to an end. When my parents decided to retire, part of their retirement dream was to move with us in the Pacific Northwest. We live on an island in the Pacific Northwest, about a 15-minute, 20-minute flight from northwest of Seattle in the Gulf Islands. And my parents had moved in with us, and then within well, the week before they were scheduled to move in with us, my mom had been diagnosed with leiomyosarcoma stage 4 metastatic. And then they still decided to move in with us across the country from Eastern Canada. And then my dad got diagnosed about a month or two later with terminal cancer as well. So, and we were a very tight family. And so my parents lived with us, and that was kind of part of the beginning of the end of my my first marriage. So there was a lot of stuff, but Reading, to be quite frank, the business side of it, I had some support there. I did have a spouse that was in line with business, and we had boundaries, right? Like, you know, every Sunday was a day off. You know, family dinners were not negotiable daily between 5 and 6. You know, date nights, that kind of stuff. But, you know, people grow apart, right? If they don't grow together, they're growing apart. And, you know, we've both remarried and we both have amazing partners. And, you know, yeah, I'm so happy that she is in a loving, committed relationship as I am. And, you know, and our new partners get us and stuff. And so that was a season, and it was a long season, but, you know, I take full ownership for my screw ups. And I would say, Reading, that, so to answer your question, it wasn't the business per se. It was more just my cowboy, crazy conquer type attitude, you know, if that makes
Thank you.
sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil. That's really amazing to share that. The other thing I just wanted to comment on is you can have reasons or you can have results. You can't have both. And you talk about what you just went through when you were transitioning to EXP. And I sit with so many people that come up with every excuse in the world not to do something, whether it's get a coach or change their business or go on vacation. The mindset that we're creating here in this group for over 2 years now is that we can do anything. And you are absolutely just showing us that you got to be all in, and you just got to go for it because life shows up.
You got to be all in. And we got some really cool questions here as well. Reading, do you feel that that's a good answer? Like, is that what you were looking for? Does that make sense?
You know what? I love your transparency, and you know, that's really what I'm looking for. You answered it perfectly.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Phil,
Yeah.
I have a question for you on time management.
Samia, how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Great.
It's nice to see you last week, was it, or the week before with Don Hops and our
Yeah,
group?
yeah.
So
Time
what's your
management.
time management. Okay.
Any tips you have on time management? I just joined EXP in October.
Yeah,
And,
awesome.
and it was like, whew, you're overwhelmed with all the groups and Peggy was instrumental in me getting to know global marketing agent, and I got into bundle select, and then we're doing this and we're doing that. I was like, whoa, time out.
Yeah.
What was your experience, or what can you share as far as tips so you don't like feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, so great question. So Samia, here's the deal. And I think, was it Anthony or was it Eric? Eric talked about this too, about time management. Sounds like there are 15 of you. Yeah, great questions, guys. So Samia, we all have the same 24 hours, right? I like to break the day up into 3 days. Okay. So I like to break the day up into 3 days. But most importantly, your faith, your devotional time, and whatever that is, whether you're a Christian, atheism is a faith, believe it or not. Agnostics have their faith, like it's whatever it is, okay? Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, your faith, okay? So that has to come first, because that will pull you through everything, and that will, help you really understand your big why and your passion. So having a
Absolutely,
faith and a daily exercise, usually first thing in the morning, your devotional time, your time with your higher power, with God, okay? Exercise, okay? You gotta fill the gas tank, okay? So you gotta get your body moving. So, whether it's a brisk walk, whatever it is, get your body moving first thing in the morning, okay? And then a bit of family time, and then lead generation and business energy. And lead generation, when I say lead generation, I'm talking about outbound new business activity focused, 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week. Okay. Make sure you schedule at least 1 day off where you're not working. No phones at the table. Never have your phone at the table. Okay. Never be texting when you're with anybody. Never answer your phone when you're with a client unless you're working a deal on their property that night or right there, and you need to be doing the feedback. Don't have your phone or answer your phone on dates or anything like that. All that stuff's nonsense. It can wait. Life's going to happen with or without you. So be very specific, Samia, with your guarding your lead generation time and guarding your me time, and working harder on yourself than anything else is most important, because then you become resilient and you're able to do everything else at the high levels, right? And so it's having that full gas tank. And by doing that, again, I'm very, very strong in belief and faith. And so, and exercise, and then, having your date nights with your partner or your friends or whatever that is, having your day off, your family, that stuff. And so, but lead generation focused every day until noon, hustle. That's your hustle time. And that's not following up with leads. It's not following up with this or following up with that. It's new, concentrated, focused, outgoing business energy. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And thanks
you're
for
welcome.
sharing. I didn't hear that story when you were on with Dawn. So
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, Anthony, thanks so much, Phil, for joining this call. Do you utilize cold calling? What percentage of your business comes from cold calling? Great question. So I'm a firm believer that mega businesses are generally, people used to say they're marketing based, prospecting enhanced. I like to say that they're prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Let me explain. We have a whole generation of newer agents coming up that don't know how to talk to people. Their communication skills are, quite frankly, they're very poor. They're lacking. They text, everything is by text, and they don't know how to communicate and this and that. And so I'm really big on working on communication skills. What does that look like? Well, join Toastmasters. If you're a Toastmaster, put your hand up. If you've been at, you go to Toastmasters, very, very, very important. Why is Toastmasters so important? Toastmasters is so important because you're in an area, in an environment where people are on the path to self-actualization and working very hard on themselves in their professional development. Well, who goes to Toastmasters? C-suite executives, middle managers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, business owners, consultants. So not only are you working on your presentation and public speaking skills, but you're also in an environment where people have the capacity to buy and sell real estate, and that have amazing networks that you can tap into as well. Folks, I have done so much business through my colleagues and peers in Toastmasters over the years. It's uncanny how much business comes from that. And so what I would encourage all of you to do is just take your phone and go to Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever you use, and put Toastmasters near me. And then it'll show you a Toastmasters club that's near you, and go to that club and work on your presentation skills. And I'll tell you, it's unbelievable. So regarding the cold calling, Anthony, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but we're going all over the place. I wanted to kind of free flow and freestyle with this a bit. But so to answer your question, I'm very big on the outbound lead generation, just because it's a hustle activity. So for sale by owners, expired, just listed, just sold, circle prospecting, that kind of stuff, that business energy and that concentrated outbound lead generation. And of course, this is not a compliance class, so make sure you check with your do not call lists and all things EXP and your local real estate councils, associations, boards, commissions, all the fun stuff, okay, that we've got. But at the end of the day, that hustle, and when you have that skill set to be able to pick up the phone and dial for dollars, will serve you incredibly. And we are in a professionals market, folks. And the people like my top agents, I have several agents that are in the 2 to 3 to 4 million range that I mentor, and they're all hustlers. They don't sit on their butt and post all over. So in fact, one of our top agents doesn't even have a social media account. No social media, no Facebook,
Wow.
no Instagram. Yeah, Gary Gang, but 200 to 300 million a year. Yeah.
So he
One
does it
guy.
all by referral,
No, he
getting out there,
hustles.
Chuck. He
No.
hustles.
By the way, by referral, if you're telling people, oh yeah, I'm 50% referral or I'm 100% referral, your referral business should never be greater than 50% of your business. Otherwise, you're in a business of attrition, because you're focusing just on that business that's coming to you versus going out and hunting for the new business and leveraging the new business and new business and new business. So believe it or not, and folks, if you're interested in finding out more about this, send me if you're with us at EXP, send me a message in Workplace Chat. If not, send a message to Peggy and I'll share the wording with it. But there's a really neat piece on that your business should never be more than 50% referral. Otherwise, you're in a business of attrition. Okay. So that's turning things on the air, because everybody's like, oh, I'm referral this, referral that. No, new business, plus that referral piece. And that's how you grow, and you take quantum leaps. So that's how you grow. Okay.
Bill, help us with your scripts though, because I want to be mindful of time. And I know that you're mastering a couple of scripts and everybody's got the buyer broker thing on, crazy. How do we do it? So
let's do it. So here we go. Hold on. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, well, we
No.
did. Not now.
we did.
Now you can see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Why is this doing this? Hold on. It's not letting me go back. Hold on a sec, folks. There we go. All right, let's do this again. There we go. Y'all see okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So basically this is now, I believe that our leadership has been really leading the pack in North America in terms of getting the information out for people in terms of how to deal with this new market that we're in. And again, if you've been signing your buyers in certain states and provinces, it was always mandatory anyway, so it's not a non-issue. But you've got to treat your buyers like you treat your sellers. And what does that look like? Well, you give them a consultation, obviously, of what they can expect from engaging your services, right? So very much like we have our listing presentations, we have our buyer consultations and our buyer strategy, okay? So identifying desirable types of property. This is what your, your main points are in terms of the value that you're bringing, and any of your buyer presentations should encompass all of these key components. Okay, so obviously number one is identifying desirable types of properties to acquire. Okay, and I'll share this presentation with everybody if they're interested, because these are really the key components of what all buyers want. Number two is obviously locating properties available to view and to consider, right? Obviously. Number 3 is the preliminary investigation and the timely information gathering. Okay. Viewing properties and providing guidance and advice. Number 5 is selecting the right property on which to make an offer, obviously. Number 6 is preparing a legally binding contract to purchase and sale. Now, again, we don't call it that. I like to call it a proposal of ownership, an agreement, paperwork, that kind of stuff. Number 7 is negotiating favorable terms and conditions. Number 8 is assisting and seeking suitable financing if necessary. 9 is assisting and arranging property inspections and other needed services. 10 is assisting in the completion and possession process. And then our guarantee to you, and this is how you disarm your buyers, okay, if there's, oh, I don't want to okay a representation agreement, you can cancel at any time if you're not completely satisfied with our service. All we ask for is your feedback, okay, so you let us know. And that we also are paid for any property that you do decide to purchase that we've shown you. So if you go back and you try to buy something that we have shown you, then you'll be responsible for paying us our fee. And then this is one thing that our team has come up with that I think is just phenomenal. And this is when you're presenting those proposals of ownership on behalf of your buyers. Is, again, I'm not your managing broker, but this is what is, consult with them first before doing this, but seller to credit buyer, say 3% at close of escrow to satisfy buyer's contractual agreement with buyer's broker, or 2.5% or whatever fee it is, because we know that fees are completely negotiable, and that's based on a menu of services and the value that you bring to your table. By the way, I've always been bigger on fee and stronger fee than lower fee, because fee obviously is always only an issue in the absence of value. So seller to credit the buyer at close of escrow to satisfy buyer's contractual agreement with buyer's broker. Okay. And you explain that to them in your presentation, which is, again, those 10 key slides are the most important points that buyers are looking for in today's market. And then if you purchase a property with another agent, as we said, that we introduce you to, we're still entitled to compensation. So it's clear, it's transparent, it's defined. And folks, when you have your buyer consultation with your purchaser, they're not going to have an issue. And one of the best closes I love to use is, I'll just say, so you see the sign in the yard there, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? Well, that sign represents the agency agreement that the sellers have engaged their agent to represent them in the transaction. This is our agreement where we're representing you in the transaction. We'll negotiate our fees, no problem. Here you go. And you just reverse the risk, right? And that's really all it is. And folks, that's what we've been doing. Like I've been teaching this since 2002, and everyone that I mentor and provide leadership to, and all of our ballers, this is what everybody's doing. So it's not really a change. It might be a change for some people that, oh my goodness, it's not going to work. But if you have it structured that they understand that you're going to be negotiating that fee on their behalf, it's really a non-issue. And in fact, it's more of a guarantee that you're going to be compensated for your value and your services when you're representing and working with the buyers versus, you know, bringing people into your car as a tour guide and not being paid and not having a commitment or obligation from them. You're not tour guides, folks, okay? So let's open that up to any discussion or questions that people may have.
Great slides, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I'll share it too. So,
Hi, I'm Ronnie. I have a really quick question. Can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
sorry, what's your name?
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Where are you?
I'm in the DC metropolitan area.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Yes,
How
yes.
can I help you?
Yes, Phil. So thank you so much for doing this. I'm getting so much value from you. I wanted to know, do you have well, you did say that you had a mentorship or a coaching program. I wanted to know, is it open for others to join, or where are you with that?
Yeah, so great question. So we have a role play session that I host every Thursday in EXP World at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time. And we work on all objections and scripting and all kinds of fun stuff. It's a safe place, and I fail miserably in it all the time. And so it's a place to come and have fun. And so that's basically, I don't coach, I mentor. And my mentorship is available to anyone. You can, you know, just message us anytime, and happy to help and support, you know, but I don't have a coaching program per se. It's more of a just a drip on mentor program. Like people call me when they're in trouble and I get them out of trouble real fast. I'm a fixer. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of a real estate fixer because I've done a ton of that over the years. My goodness.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. And what's a good, you said Thursday at 9 o'clock a.m.?
9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern. Yeah, if you're in the DC area, you'd be Eastern time zone, right? So yeah, 12
Gotcha.
noon your time. Yeah.
12 noon. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I'll be teaching as well at EXPCon in Miami. So if you haven't registered, make sure you come to EXPCon in Miami. We'll be having a live session there. Again, I remember Watson and I having a really fun time. He put me through the gears, and I ended up having to buy him a steak at Ruth's Chris because I was just going to give him a gift certificate. And he's like, no, I want a steak at Ruth's Chris because we'd just done a big deal. So there you go.
Awesome.
Well-
I have one last question,
Sure.
real quick. So we are now in September. What would you say for the agents that's on here and for myself as well? I would like to close, at least 5 transactions before the end of the year. And I know that's nothing for you. So what advice would you give for us agents that's on here to close, multiple transactions from now to December?
Ronnie, great question. So your closest hanging fruit are expired listings, okay? Because those are people that have been weathered by the market, and if there's still a motivation to sell, and you price them properly, you can cash flow pretty darn quickly on that. I've got some amazing expired listing scripts that I'll happily share with you if you send me a message in work chat, but expired listings can generally turn into money pretty darn quickly. And so what you do is just look at your average days on market in your market. So say your average days right now is 38. Well, you know that if you price a property properly, that home should sell within a 38-day time frame, and probably a month and a half to 2-month closing, etc. So you can cash flow pretty quickly by working on your expired game. And then next is for sale by owner game as well, because those are people putting their hand up saying, hey, I want to sell my home, right? And so that's some business, but you got to skill up, and so come to our class and we'll help you, with all those scripts and how to get that business. It's remarkable, folks, how many agents I work with that call me and say, my gosh, no one had even called this expired listing.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird. So don't think that everybody's doing it, because the world is full of call reluctance and people that are able to qualify a prospect by just looking at the phone without even calling them.
Gotcha.
Okay, Ronnie, so
Okay.
expireds. Okay.
What's the how do I contact you for the script?
Sorry, Ronnie, you're distorting a bit.
I hear it.
I'm sorry. I was asking about the script. You said reach out to your team, or you on Workplace?
Yeah, in work chat. Send me a message in work chat and I'll happily share scripts with you. Yeah, if you're at EXP, for sure. Yeah.
So Phil, I have a
Gotcha. All right,
question.
thank you.
These are
My
all
pleasure.
great
Thanks
questions.
Yeah. Hey, Peggy.
Ronnie, love that you did that. I have a question. Probably a lot of people are thinking about this. You do the role playing every week. What's the number one objection you get, or the top 3 objections that you like? I've got this. I can overcome these. And here's the script.
Well, no problem. Why don't we do an expired script right now? Who'd like to volunteer? Who wants to be a seller?
Okay, come on, Pam Dempsey.
Okay, I'll do it. Can you hear me
Hey,
okay?
Pam. All right,
Yeah.
you're an expired seller?
It's raining here, so if you can't hear me, let me know.
Yeah, I can hear you great. Okay, so you're an expired seller and I'm calling you. So speed to lead is very important. So I like to hit them up first thing in the morning, the day they expire. Okay, so I'm calling you, Pam. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Pam?
Yes,
Oh, hey, Pam. Good morning. This is Phil from EXP Realty. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Hey, I'm calling about your home that was removed from the market this morning.
Okay. What would you like to know?
Sorry, you froze up there. Yes. So how's the activity been?
Well, evidently not great. I guess that's why it expired.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Pam, where do you plan on going when we sell your home? Are you staying in the area or moving out of the area?
Well, we were hoping to finally buy that beach house in Florida, but it's not looking like that's going to happen.
Okay, fantastic. And whereabouts in Florida, south or central? Where are you thinking?
Up in the Panhandle, Pensacola area.
Panhandle. In which area, sorry?
Pensacola.
Pensacola, phenomenal. I've got an amazing business partner in Pensacola that can give you priority access to off-market properties, distress sales, bank foreclosures, and company-owned properties, and it's a free service and obligates you absolutely nothing. Does that sound helpful?
I mean, that would be fantastic, but I'm not in a position where I can do that because of my mortgage here. So my hands are
Yeah.
kind of tied right now.
No, I appreciate that. Well, listen, I'll reach out to John and let him know what your needs are. And what are you thinking for your new place in Pensacola? What type of a property were you thinking, like a single family home or a townhome?
Definitely single family,
Okay.
but our priority would be something on the water with a dock for our sailboat.
On the water for your sailboat. What kind of sailboat do you have?
Right now we've just got a small, it's a 20 Catalina, 26-foot Catalina.
26 foot. Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, I used to race cats, Hobie cats. So yeah, I love
Oh, yeah.
love the wet boats and lasers and invitations as well. So that's great. Well, listen, John, I'm sure is going to have a lot of really nice stuff and that, you know, meets that criteria. What were you thinking of an investment for your new home, Pam?
You know, honestly, I haven't even really let myself start looking because it's just
Okay.
not even a possibility right now until, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up and start doing a lot of looking at what's
Yeah.
available and pricing right now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Well, listen, we specialize in getting families involved in homes just like yours, Pam. In fact, in the time that you've been on market, we've literally helped dozens of people in the community get their homes sold fast and for top dollar. And I was wondering if I could come by sometime, you know, later this morning to preview it for our buyers in waiting, or maybe mid-afternoon would be better for you.
Sure, that'd be fine. I'd be available probably about 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. How about say 2:15, 2:30ish? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, listen, John will have been in touch with you by that time and get you set up on his VIP buyer profiling system for you. And I look forward to seeing your home today at 2:15, 2:30ish. And Pam, is anyone else involved in the decision-making process other than yourself?
My husband.
Fantastic. And he'll be there as well?
Yes.
Great. And what's his name?
Lance.
Lance, awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you and Lance today around 2:15, 2:30ish. Thanks, Pam.
Okay, thank you.
Boom. So that's what I do. So you'll notice that I asked her about her home being removed from the market, and then I steer right away from it. I don't talk about the house. How many offers did you have? How many open houses? I go right to what her needs are. Because as a fiduciary, folks, we want to provide a holistic opportunity and solution for our prospects and our clients that we're working with, right? So now Pam, John's going to call Pam, and John's a pro. He's going to say, oh my gosh, yeah, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. Get her up on a VIP profile, buyer profile, start sending her properties that meet her criteria. And then I look like a pro when I show up, that he's already been in touch with her and she's feeling confidence. The other thing, Pam, you'll notice is that I said, where do you plan on going when we sell your home? Folks, this is a very, very key one, and this is an unbelievably powerful close. Where do you plan on going when we sell your home? If Pam doesn't say you're not selling my home, believe it or not, she's already committed to working with us. And it's just a question of finalizing the details, because that's really what she wants, in essence, is to get her home sold fast for top dollar and with the least amount of hassle. And so it's a very powerful, subtle trial close, but boom. Once they say, oh, I'm moving to Florida or this or that, and they don't stop you in your tracks on that, they've subconsciously started to work with you and engage your services. And it's just a question of finalizing the details.
So
I was gonna say that's how it really felt talking to you, was by the time you asked me to come preview my house, like, of course I'm gonna let you come preview my house. Like, we've already decided you're gonna sell it. That's how it felt.
Yeah, pretty neat, eh? Words are powerful, folks, believe me.
So
If
Phil,
I'm-
I love the embedded command, but I think Pam was a bit too easy for you. So I want to just real quick give you
Totally
a couple
agree.
of objections. Okay, that was way too easy.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's do it. Peggy, let's do it.
I'm the bitchy seller. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go quick.
Ring,
Pam.
ring.
Hello.
Peggy?
Yes.
Oh, hey, good morning. This is Phil from eXp Realty. How are you?
No, not another realtor. I'm done.
I appreciate that. I'm calling about your home that was removed from the market this morning. How are you doing?
I'm a little annoyed, to be quite honest with you, and every realtor in the world is calling me, and I'm extremely frustrated. Where were you when my home was on the market?
Well,
Mm.
interestingly enough, Peggy, during that time frame, we actually got a couple of dozen families involved in homes in the community. So yeah, we were busy selling our listings and representing our clients that had engaged us. So that's where I was. Peggy, let me ask you, where do you plan on going when we sell your home? Are you staying in the area or moving out of the area?
Well, right now, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a question for you. You've sold a lot of other homes in the time my home's been on the market.
Yeah.
How come you didn't show mine?
Yeah, again, it didn't meet our buyer's criteria, and I was focused on selling a lot of our inventory because we're such a strong firm. We have so much inventory that oftentimes we're able to satisfy a lot of our buyers' needs within our own inventory. Peggy, it's pretty cool when you're working with the #1 selling real estate company in the US and the #1 real estate company globally with over 87,000 agents in 24 countries. So yeah, I was quite busy representing our clients.
Okay, so what do you want?
So where do you plan on going when we sell your home? Like, are you staying in the area? Are you staying in state or moving out of state? What are your plans there?
We are going to New England,
New England. Oh, phenomenal. Whereabouts?
Connecticut.
Oh, I love Connecticut. Used to live in Medford. Yeah, I love that place. Yeah.
Medford. Oh, okay. So I
Whereabouts in
suppose,
Connecticut?
well, Shoreline, Madison, where I grew up.
Oh, phenomenal. And what were you thinking of for your new home? A single family home or a townhome or an apartment? What are you thinking?
Phil, I got to be honest with you. I'm not thinking anything right now. I got 3 kids. I've had to clean this house every single day. It's been on the market, and my husband and I are incredibly frustrated. So,
I
do you have
appreciate
a
that.
buyer? Do you have a buyer for my
Yeah,
house?
we have a tremendous amount of buyers in waiting for sure, Peggy. Peggy, for your new home, what were you thinking of spending? What kind of budget did you have in mind?
$850.
$850. Okay. And how many bedrooms did you need? You said you had 3 kids?
Right. We want 5.
5 bedrooms. Okay. Okay, great. Well, listen, I've got an amazing partner in Connecticut that get you priority access to amazing off-market properties, distress sales, bank foreclosures, and company-owned properties. And it's a free service and obligates you to nothing. Would that be okay if I had Johnny get in touch with you?
No, I want my house sold, Phil. Honest to
Okay.
God, I'm like up to here. My phone is ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
I'm tired of making beds. Do you,
I
do you have
appreciate
a,
that.
if you're telling me you're the #1 agent, I love that. I appreciate that. But right now, I need the agent to sell my house that I have no idea why it's expired.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you've got them right here. And speaking of that, are you available later this morning around 11 o'clock or maybe early afternoon so I can come by and preview the home for our buyers in waiting and we can discuss further in terms of how we'll get it sold fast for you for top dollar? What's better for you, late morning or mid afternoon?
So, Phil, that's a huge inconvenience. I want to just know, bottom line, what do you think? Why do you think my house hasn't sold? You have MLS, you can see the photos. Seriously, I don't want to go through showing my house again.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
done.
appreciate that. And you know what? We're not interested in listing your home or showing it. We're just interested in selling it for you. You know, that's our strategy is more a little more holistic. We actually just want to sell the home, but we really can't discuss that or do that until we see you and preview it for our buyers in waiting. So is this morning, late morning, okay, around 11? Or again, I could do mid afternoon, 2 or 3. What's better, Peggy?
Well, I got to be honest with you. My husband said no more agents. He doesn't want anybody in the house.
Of course,
So
absolutely.
he goes to play golf at 4 o'clock. If you want to come after he's gone, I'll sneak you in the house.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. He's involved in the decision-making process as well.
He does what I say.
He does what you say. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. Listen, why don't we, what's your husband's name?
John.
John. Okay. Is there any way that I could come when John's home? Like say around 3 o'clock?
No, honest to God, Phil, I'm telling you the truth. No more agents. He wants to take a break. I like the fact that you're persistent. I like the fact that, you know, maybe you've got something there. I've connected with your voice, your tone, and the way you're overcoming everything. So if you want to see my house, I'll do it after my husband's gone. And then I'll make the decision.
When is he back from golf?
6 o'clock. You're not coming when he's there.
No, I appreciate that. Why don't I come around 5:30? Is that okay? I can sneak in.
No, because you want to be there when he shows up.
Okay.
I can show you at 5.
5 o'clock? Okay, let's say 5:15-ish. Is that okay?
5:15, but you're out of the house in 20 minutes. Trust me.
No problem.
It's not,
And then,
it's not worth it.
And then, so you had said for your property in Connecticut, your budget was $850. Up to how much?
Up to $1 million. We have an agent there, I think.
Up to $1 million. And are you 100% committed to working with that agent?
It's my sister-in-law's cousin.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Peggy, if you were going to have heart surgery or something major like that, would you choose a family member or a friend, or would you choose the professional with the proven track record that can get you the result?
I think she's like the #1 agent in that zip code.
Okay, because actually John, my colleague, is the #1 agent, but I guess there's so many different qualifiers to being
Exactly.
#1 agent, right?
Hey,
Maybe
Phil,
#1 agent in her mother's eyes or her father's eyes or something, because I don't even think I've heard of her, but anyway, that's a
you're
whole other
pushing it.
story. So, okay, so listen, we'll see you at 5:15 today,
And
and I'll have
Phil,
John.
no one's calling me at 5:15 today, and you're out before my husband gets there, and I'll let you walk through the house.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, Peggy, what's your email? Best email for you?
PeggyDelano@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Is that okay if I just send that to John so he could just send you a sampling of his off-market properties as well?
Sure.
Great. Okay, thanks. Look forward to seeing you, and thanks for being so agreeable, Peggy. We'll see you at 5:15.
Bye, Phil.
Bye. We're 5 minutes past due. Yeah, so good job, Peggy. You're being stubborn. I just don't quit. Like, you'll know, like, I'll just keep going. But here's the deal, right? Here's another hack, folks, and I'm sure a lot of you know this. Make sure that you book the appointments tight, okay? So what I mean by that is long-term appointments, lots of cancellation. Short-term appointment, real tight. So that's why, especially with an expired, I want to get in late morning or mid-afternoon or early afternoon, okay? And then, by the way, so if Peggy says, well, all these realtors are calling me, another great objection overcomer is, you know what, Peggy, that's great. Just let them know that you've talked to Phil at EXP and that he'll be handling things. And if they have a buyer, to call me and I'll handle it for you from this point forward. Got it?
So I have a quick question for you. You really wanted to tighten up where my husband's supposed to come back from playing golf. God, I wish I had that husband. But anyways, are you planning on hanging out? Would you hang out till he came, or would you leave?
Oh, I do my best to hang out and try to win him with some rapport building and stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because obviously, it's important that you qualify that all parties involved in the decision-making process are there. But again, folks, we know, especially during COVID, how business happened, right? There's so much more flexibility in doing stuff, and people have POA, power of attorneys, and all kinds of stuff. But, you want to make sure that all candidates involved in the decision-making process are present, because otherwise you got to resell it again, right? How many of you had listing agreements okayed by one partner and then the other person's like, oh, well, my cousin Jimmy is going to give us a better deal on the commission and all this nonsense, right? So have them all there if possible.
So
okay,
Phil,
folks, we're 7:06. We're 6 minutes over. So
7:06. So we are running late. Listen, Phil, you were awesome. Loved it. Would you guys love to have Phil back on another time?
Absolutely. I like
I
how
hope
you
you'll
took
do it.
control of the appointment time. That was on purpose, right?
Yeah.
How you shifted from 5 to 5:15.
Always, I don't let them win. And why I do that is because it establishes control, and it's very, very strategic, again, that not letting them pick the appointment. So if I say, yeah, between 5 and 6, and they say, sure, 5, I'll say, sure, I'll see you at 5:15, 5:30. And by the way, folks, another great hack is bracketing appointments. Yeah. So rather than saying, I'm going to be there at 5, and if you're a big Metroplex person or in a big city and you're in traffic like crazy, say, how about this? I'll be there between 5 and 5:30, 5 and 5:45. So that way you're never out of integrity because you're showing up within the window. Got it? Big idea. Big hack. Works awesome.
We love you, Phil.
Thanks, Peg.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'll get the recording up. Thanks, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Phil.
Good job,
Bye.
Phil. Thanks, Peggy.
Thanks,
Great.
Peggy.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
everyone. Cheers. Have a great day.
Thanks, Phil.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys. It was worth taking another flight, I have to tell you, Phil. And my flight is now delayed, so whatever.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, of course it is. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.